You know that one person who shows up, looks at whatever disaster just happened, leaking pipe, dead car battery, corrupted file, complete emotional spiral, and they just go quiet for a second. They don't freak out or immediately Google it with shaking hands. They just think, and then they start doing something about it. And you're standing there wondering what's wrong with you, that your first instinct was to cry. So what is it that actually separates these people from the rest of us? It's not really even experience. And once you understand it, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. Let's go back to something psychologist Albert Bandura identified in the late 1970s. A concept called self-efficacy, which, stripped of all the academic language, is just your belief that you are capable of handling what's in front of you. Not general optimism. It's very specific. It's the feeling of, I've handled things before, and this thing in front of me is handleable. Bandura found that this belief alone dramatically changes how long someone persists at a problem before giving up, and how much effort they pour into it when it gets hard. Effort. So what made people like this in the first place? That's where it gets personal. Think about what happens the very first time a kid actually tries to fix something, and it works. Even something tiny. They wiggled the wire and the lamp turned on. They rebooted the computer and it worked. They put pressure on the cut and the bleeding stopped. That moment does something to them that has nothing to do with the lamp or the cut. It rewires how they see themselves in relation to problems. Suddenly, the world isn't something that just happens to them. It's something they can reach into and change. And every time after that, when something breaks, their nervous system doesn't go into shutdown mode. It goes into almost a mild curiosity. Like, oh, this is a puzzle, I've solved puzzles before. Bandura called these moments mastery experiences, and research consistently ranks them as the single most powerful source of self-efficacy there is. Not being told you're capable, not watching someone else do it, actually doing it yourself. That's the thing that sticks. Yourself. It's a learned relationship with uncertainty. Julian Rotter spent years studying what he called locus of control, the degree to which a person believes their own actions determine outcomes, rather than luck or fate. And people who sit firmly on the internal end of that scale don't just do better at fixing things. They're less likely to develop depression. They cope with stress in ways that don't involve completely dismantling their lives. They persist longer. It's been recognized across different cultures and age groups. The sense that your effort actually matters is one of the most protective psychological traits a person can have. Matters. But most of these people were not born this way. It started from very specific moments, usually in childhood, where someone either handed them agency or left them no choice but to find it themselves. Sometimes it was a parent who said, "I'm not going to tell you the answer, I'm going to help you figure it out." And sometimes it was a parent who wasn't there to help at all, so the kid learned to help themselves. Both pathways lead to the same place. Now here's a part that's quite surprising, because it looks like confidence from the outside, but it's actually something else entirely. When a fixer walks into a broken situation, they are not certain it will work out. They're not carrying some magical guarantee. They feel the same uncertainty you feel. What's different is that the uncertainty doesn't feel like a verdict to them, more like a starting point. There's a psychological construct for this. Tolerance of ambiguity, the ability to sit inside a situation where you don't yet know the answer and not completely fall apart while you figure it out. People who struggle with ambiguity need resolution fast. They need to know it's going to be okay right now. And when they can't get that reassurance, the anxiety takes over and they freeze, or they just hand it to the person who seems calm and back away slowly. The fixer in your life learned, somewhere along the way, to be okay in that uncomfortable in-between space. Okay, let's pause. I want to be honest about something, because I think this video would be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention it. Some people who know how to fix everything, And I mean everything, emotionally, practically, logistically, for everyone around them, are sometimes not doing it from a place of strength. Some of them learned to fix things because it was how they earned their place. The approval was in the solution. Standing there helpless was, at some point in their life, genuinely risky. So their nervous system decided, I will never be helpless again. Never. And that's more of a coping mechanism wearing a superhero costume. The tell is when you ask them to let someone else handle something. They physically cannot relax. They're hovering. They're offering unsolicited suggestions. They need it to be fixable, not only for your sake, but because an unfixed thing sitting somewhere in their environment feels like an unfixed thing inside of them. But then there's the other kind, and this is the one worth talking about. Other. The person who fixes things out of genuine curiosity, because broken things fascinate them. The gap between not working and working is one of the most interesting places in the world to them. These people will tear apart something they already fixed just to understand it better. They'll ask questions that have no practical use. They'll explain what went wrong with a level of detail nobody asked for, delighted, like they just discovered something beautiful. These are the people who fell in love with competence itself, not the outcome, the process, the figuring out. Spending time around people like that is one of the most recalibrating things you can do for yourself, because what they model, without even meaning to, is that not knowing how to do something is just a temporary state. Broken is not a permanent condition. You can put your hands on a problem and actually move it. Move it. You might be sitting here realizing you're one of these people, and you've never really thought about why. Or you might be realizing you're not, and that the idea of being this way feels genuinely foreign to you. And if it's the second one, I want to say something directly to you. The reason you outsource your broken things isn't a character flaw. It's a history, a set of experiences that taught you problems are things that happen to you, rather than the other way around. And that isn't permanent either. The whole architecture of self-efficacy, Bandura's entire argument, is that it builds through experience. Small wins, tiny moments of I tried and it worked. Not giant heroic fixes, just you tighten the screw, you made the call. You didn't wait for someone to save you, just this once. That's where it starts. But understanding why you're wired this way is only half of it. The harder part is actually doing something with that understanding, because awareness without structure has a way of just becoming more material for your brain to loop over. You see the pattern, you name it, and then you think about it a lot, and nothing moves. That gap between insight and actual change is the part I've been trying to address for people watching this channel. If you're someone who gets it intellectually, but keeps finding yourself stuck in the same loops, same hesitation, same I'll start properly next week, there's something in the pinned comment that might be worth looking at. It's a 7-day reset bundle built specifically around this pattern: overthinking, emotional blocks, and building consistent follow-through in a way that doesn't ask you to rely on motivation or force your way through it. It's structured into daily